the vax. He's just like, not going to happen.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's what
Yeah.
I'm trying to work on now is just get this darn serial port working on the simulator reliably.
And which I mean that is that I mean you already had your yeah, it was the 88 2SIO R1 or yeah, I don't know if it was R1, but yeah, that already working. I thought at one point, at least I thought I used it to test when I was doing Jomon. I wanted to test out to a real connection. I thought I used that.
Yeah, it works sort of. If you start doing a lot with it, like
Yeah,
oh, I'm just using it, and then I run ASM, like I compile like the BIOS,
yeah.
just running like a lot of CPU stuff. And then as soon as it's done, after a certain amount of time, it just starts running like caca.
Uh,
And I don't know why, but I think I might have found one reason.
is it something that you can adjust though at that point? Is the question? Depending on if it's or as you said, if it's code in there for the for one of the other the PDP-11 or something else.
Yeah,
You might.
like I'm reading his comments, and like you ask, are you done transmitting data? Because like if it's not like the it's not like the 2SIO where you do an out
Yeah,
and it gets loaded in the hardware and off it goes.
yeah,
So this, you're using your operating system serial drivers. So you give it to it, then it does whatever it does with it. It uses its own interrupt handlers, and so trying to figure out, hey, is the data actually sent? There's some stuff in here, but his code says you can ask, and you either get a 0, which means it's not done, it's still transmitting. You
yeah.
get a 1, where yeah, it just finished, or a -1, which means it's finished, and you asked again, and yes, it was previously finished. Well, I never get a 1. I get a 0 and a -1. So I don't know how it can be previously finished when it's like I've never been told it's finished. It's just
Gotcha.
dumb. It's
Yeah.
just
No,
dumb
no,
stuff.
no, 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 no. I absolutely follow what you're saying.
It's just dumb stuff like that.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
Yeah.
Uh, oh well.
Uh-huh.
I'm slowly trying to make a collection.
Mm.
So
Yeah, but be careful. Once you have that collection, you can't find anything.
yeah, that's exactly what's happened. I even I think answered Walter in a chat today and said, "Oh, I have a bunch of Patrick's boards that work for the front panels. Essentially, it gives you an easy way to connect the front panels. You don't have to worry
Mm.
about rewiring. Yeah, essentially
Oh, the
straight out.
adapter. The
Yeah,
adapters,
the
yes.
little adapter. When I ordered them from JLCPCB, ordering five, I think I might have said this already, but ordering five was like, $40 and ordering 50 was $50, so it's like, okay, I'll order 50. So I got a bunch of them.
Right.
But I can't find them.
I'll find them.
They're in a box in a bin somewhere in this office. So I don't think I brought them out to the thing. I know out in the garage, I have some that are made, I've already,
Yeah.
soldered on the little connectors for them. So
Yeah, I think it took me about a week or so to find some JLC PCB boards I had for the Sol 20 personality module. Because I knew I ordered 10, because that's what I have showing my records of ordering from them. And I built one up, and the rest of them I just stuck somewhere. And it took me about a week before I finally
Yeah.
found. I mean, I was looking everywhere.
By the way, thank you. I got them yesterday or the day before.
Yeah, that ROM lets you use jumpers, and you can choose what you want to boot to.
Hmm.
So it's a lot nicer than changing the whole personality modules out.
Cool.
Yeah, on the Sol, I've made some progress.
Yeah.
It boots, but it's really weird. It only prints 8 characters by 8 lines. So it's in the top.
That's a feature.
That's a high res monitor.
What's that?
That's for high res.
Yeah, I get the screen works only in the top quadrant. And it's not even long enough to where I could do a dump. I type DU space, and then I get a couple characters into the first address, and then it goes doop, blank.
Oh,
Who's
yeah.
got a computer issue?
I was going to say, yeah.
You do, Walt.
Well,
Oh, I got it resolved. The cable, the cable had a couple of the pins in the wrong, at least a couple of them in the wrong places. But I pulled the whole thing apart and then reinserted everything in the right order. So
Nice.
and then the next problem I had was it wouldn't boot, and it turned out they had a faulty DSK file. And so when I replaced that, now the system boots.
Interesting.
All right, problem solved.
Yeah. Oh God, what are we going to talk about now?
I got one more computer to build. And that's going to be the one with Krumemco ZPU, Don Caprio mini front panel, and probably, well, for starters, a Flex RAM board again, but I might stick an FDC Plus in there when I get it back. I got a loaner out. When I get that back, I'll probably stick that in it.
Yeah.
So you're basically working for one of every flavor, right? Well,
yeah. Well, the thing is, I want to have one computer is just the Altair 8800C, pretty basic, except I added an extra pair of serial ports on it. Then I have my IMSAI-JAIR CBBS computer. So then ZAltair Z80, that's running original DAZZLER board set in it. So for testing DAZZLER software. And then this latest build has the DAZZLER 2 board in it. So I can make sure all the software works there too.
Cool.
Yeah. Nice. Bob is working on a kind of a neat game. He plays it and he's gotten over 1,000 points in the game. The best I've done is around 400. I think it was 407 was my high score. It's not that easy. Even though as simple as the game is, it's not that easy to get a high score.
I never actually enjoyed playing the games. I just enjoyed getting things working.
Yeah, I'm not much of a gamer myself. I've never been very good. I think when I was younger, my brother would just beat me at everything, so I just said I was not going to do that anymore.
See, I'm at the opposite end of that spectrum. I'm still playing World of Warcraft. What's it, 20 plus years in?
Great.
The only game that ever got me hooked was Star Raiders on the Atari 800.
Gotcha.
That was an impressive game.
I have the Star Raiders cartridge in an Atari 400.
Yeah, same game.
With the little keypad. Yeah, same game. Okay. Yeah, I'm
So
trying to sell that. Nobody wants it.
I got my Altair 8800C up for the first time. I started playing ladder, and the high score in the game was some guy had like about 263,000 points in that game. And so I played ladder over and over and over. I got up close to 200,000, but man, it's not easy to get a high score in that game.
Oh, you retired people. What fun.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, I got a question. It's I picked up some of these 3M Wayne compatible hard sector discs. Have you guys worked with those?
Hard sector.
Oh, where'd you find those?
Those are rare.
Yeah, on North Star. If they're 10 sector, they're North Star.
Yeah, usually those are labeled on the backside. Is that what yours are?
Yeah. Let's see.
Oh, they're 8-inch. Okay.
Yeah, so Wang labeled the backside of them. So those are good for Altair. Yeah, I have some.
Yeah, you have some? Okay.
Yeah, well, mine came in the standard gray 3M box. I've never seen a red 3M box.
Well, that one says Wang on the outside, right? So they're probably private labeled.
It says Wayne. It's 3M, but it says Wayne compatible is what it says on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, so I've got some of the Wang ones too, and I can tell because the label's on the backside, the SO side.
Yeah, I don't know if you can
But yeah, they work.
read that.
32
but-
sector, is that normal? 32?
Yep.
It's for Altair.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're 32 sector. So I'm assuming with the FTC Plus, then I should be able to run the standard Altair software with
yeah.
the ShoeGuard drives. Right?
Work.
So will the ShoeGuard standard 801s or whatever, will they recognize the hard sectoring for the controller? Mike?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So those early drives before we went any LSI, they passed all the index pulses through.
Okay.
If you had an 801, you actually have to turn off the 801 feature and turn it back into an 800 just with a jumper.
Right.
Because you
Okay.
don't want the drive pulling those out. You want it left in because the Altair controller expects
Exactly, yeah.
index and sector.
Yeah.
But no, that'll work fine.
Okay. Great. There's more available on eBay. They're actually cheaper than some people were asking for the 3M soft sector discs. So you can check it out. I bought 2 boxes of them for, I think I paid like $75 or $80 shipped for them.
For 2 boxes?
For 2 boxes, 20 of them.
Yeah, the 5 1/4 inch drives, your ShoeGuard, your belt drives, they could handle speed variances, and you could use soft sector media and let the FTC Plus figure out the hard sector spots. But the 8-inch drives, that format is so tight that there's only like 200 microseconds of slop in there. And in fact, that's so tight that it was problematic even with hard sector discs on the Pertec drives because they drifted so much. But the belt driven drives just aren't steady enough to do fake sector, and it'll work maybe for a little while, but then it won't. So yeah, with the ShoeGuards, you really do need those. The Pertec DC drive ones, they do okay with soft sector, but yeah, you're still better off no matter what on the 8-inch having real hard sector discs.
Yeah. That's what I figured. Has anybody used these with the grease weasel?
I've never done any grease weasel stuff.
Grease weasel, I've got a grease weasel and I've used it with regular 801s soft sectored. And that was, it took some fiddling because there's no predefined like disk parameters. So you have to kind of tinker until you find one that works.
Okay. You kind of wish people would publish those more like in a common spot because I've had, I have a grease weasel one.
Yeah, I've got about 100 discs I need to image. So one of these days I will get around to doing it and I will document it then. But when I was tinkering with it about a year ago, it took me a while to get really clean images that I could then put back into an emulator. And of course, the other thing you need is, of course, one of these to do the right.
Yeah, I've already got a grease weasel, a tandem drive set up on a grease weasel that I've used. I actually put it in the chassis with the interface card just like that.
But yeah, I've had a lot of success with this guy, which is I found these on eBay, I think it was. No, Tindy.
Yep. That's the 34 to 50.
Right. And I really like this little one. It's somebody in France, I think it is, that makes these. And I've got like 3 of them now.
Yep, I actually have one of those. I ordered one of those first, and then I started playing around, and I created these boards. This is a termination adapter for an HP logic analyzer.
Okay.
That also has the 34 and 50 pin connectors on it.
Oh, wow.
And so you can, and I even put the jumper block in the exact same configuration as the one from France. So there's the documentation, everything is the same.
Yeah.
And then, so it has the termination adapter circuits on there for the logic analyzer. It's like a Pi network or so, like three component surface mount Pi network. And then it's an open source project.
Oh, wow.
That had an ESP32 floppy controller. So as I was just finishing this up, I decided to throw an ESP32 on there. And it's got, so you can basically control the drive directly from the ESP32 and play around with it, do testing and stuff like that. So,
but yeah, the grease weasel's great. And then you tinker it. My micro engine runs off discs I've imaged with a grease weasel and then run in a disk emulator rather than running the old 8-inch floppies because they're getting, they're 40 years old.
Right.
But I've been putting off for at least a year now. I've been putting off imaging all my floppies.
I went through a whole bunch, about 100 or so 5 1/4 inch floppies a couple of months ago, and then I just discovered another whole box of them. So
Yeah.
I got
Well, I
more
got
to
about
do.
108-inch floppies sitting behind me. So
Oh wow.
one of these days I'll have to sit down and say, okay,
Yeah.
photocopy.
They have gold on them, you know, stuff we've been looking for, right?
Yeah. There's some odd stuff in there. There's nothing really spectacular, but there's some
Yeah.
odd stuff in there that I collected up over the years.
Yeah.
Does anybody
Sure.
use an HP logic analyzer? Because I had 10 of these boards made, and I certainly don't need 10 of them. It's it has a direct logic analyzer interface right to the floppy bus, if you're tracking that.
Yeah.
Not since I was young.
Yeah, the only logic
Okay.
analyzer I've got is one of those dirt cheap ones that you find for
Okay.
like 60 bucks on Amazon.
Because here's an S100 board that I did that
Oh,
basically
wow.
has 72 channels on it that just drops into the S100, so you can plug your logic analyzer probes straight into the connectors there.
Wow.
And then
That's spectacular.
I put some space for a couple little cheap voltmeters that they just show the bus voltages on there. But again, I've got 5 of these. I don't need them. If anybody has a use and is willing to solder over 200 small surface mount components on there for the termination circuit,
Can do it.
I'm willing to share these boards.
Todd, I'd love to.
You want to share the Gerber files for those boards?
I could do that.
Yeah, because I
Yeah,
can put that up on my website, and then that way people can order them pre-made, like from JLC PCB. You know, because all the SMT
Todd
parts.
wants to get rid of his first.
I think it sounded like Terry wanted one.
Yeah, I'll buy one.
Was that Terry? Okay.
Yeah.
Email me after the meeting. I think you should have my email from the group list there.
Mm-hmm.
I'll make sure he gets it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was.
Yeah, I don't have a HP analyzer, and I probably would never use that board, but having the Gerber files for boards like that are specialized up on the website, that makes it easy for people to get them, unless you want to start selling them as, you know. But that, you know, unless you're a business, that's kind of a hassle.
Right. So Terry, what kind of logic analyzer do you run then?
Oh, I've HP and also a couple new ones.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that won't work with the new ones. I don't think it'll have to be.
No, this I have a 1672 or something like that, so it uses that that generation from the 90s pod probe interface.
Okay.
So I know it'll work for a number of them. So yeah, I'll certainly get you one of those boards because I don't need 5 of them.
I appreciate it.
No problem.
Have any of you ever made your own hat boards, like for the ESP32 or the Arduinos or anything?
Not my own. No, I've used it once, but never made my own.
So
CAD boards? What are you asking?
Hat, HAT, basically a board that plugs into the sockets that are on an Arduino or something like that. I mean, the ESP32 itself can plug into stuff. What I need to know is a good pin it's on a strip or something, so you can solder it into a board like the ESP32 that has them, right? That are then stiff enough to go into a socket without bending. You know, I've done resistor leads, and that's just not production worthy. What are the pins that people are putting into circuit boards to then make them a big dip, basically?
So because the normal pins are much bigger, right? And they won't go into the that you use for like pin headers.
Yeah, you can't use Berg strips or anything like that.
Exactly, because they're too big. Yeah.
Yeah,
they destroy the
going
sockets.
from like 2 millimeter spacing to 2.54 millimeter spacing.
I think
I would just stick with the 0.1 spacing. I want to know what pins they're using.
Yeah.
I assume they're on a strip of some sort that maybe peels off or something. So a profile when they're done.
But that would be a fairly easy KiCad or
No,
well, they exist. I just want to buy them.
Just the pins, just the pins, No, I get what you're looking for, Mike. I'm trying to think if I've ever seen those.
Yeah,
I haven't done a lot of Google. I'm sure I can find if I just start searching.
I think it's at one time SparkFun was selling them.
I could see them having something like that.
Yeah.
But you know, SparkFun has really gone downhill a lot. They've discontinued a lot of their stuff and changed things around, so it's becoming harder to find what you want on their website.
No, the reason is because I'm making something that I think will have essentially a spot for plugging hat boards onto. And they'd be trivial hat boards just to adapt to different computers, like Altair 8800, actually to adapt to different parallel boards. So what I'm thinking about making is the ICOM FD360, the ICOM FD3712, which was, like I said, this was all pre-Altair technically, and at the same time as Altair, but it the drive controller, the actual controller, was in the drive cabinet, not your computer. All you needed in your computer was a parallel interface, and most every computer had a parallel interface of some sort. If not, it was easy to build, right? And so if you have a Heathkit 3400 trainer for a 6800, you can hook a drive to it. Or if you have, well, like Ben Zotto working on his Sphere computer, or anything you're working on, my Altair 680, it had a parallel board. That's how I got it hooked to these drives, or Southwest Technical. So anything can run these 3712 disk drives, FD360 disk drives from the early days. All you needed was a parallel port. And I'm finding more and more and more software for it now. You've heard me talk about it each week for the last several weeks. What I think would be cool was essentially, well, it's hard to find a 3712 cabinet or a 3060 cabinet. It's hard to keep them working. It'd be neat, basically, to have one of those that then could hook to 8-inch drives or 5 1/4 high density drives, so it looked like an 8-inch drive. And then the hard part is the parallel interface. It has to be redesigned. It's really nothing more than mixing and matching the order of pins, of course. But I don't like making a breadboard swapping around 40 pins, right? I mean, it'd be nice if you just stuck ribbon cables from one to the other. So my idea is that the ribbon cable is defined by a hat board you put on there. So if you want to do your own thing, you could sit down in KiCad and make a little hat board, which is nothing more than swapping all the pins around from one bird connector to another. And then it's just a dip to your particular parallel interface board. If you have an IO4, you go to 14-pin headers or 16-pin, I can't remember. If you had the parallel boards from Altair, drawing a blank on it. There's the PIO, and then what was the other one? The big one? PIO4 maybe? That used 24-pin dip sockets. Other ones will use IDC headers. Some of them are on card edge connectors like IMSAI. But all of those turn into just standard ribbon cables, right? The problem is the order of the pins is wrong, are all different. And that's what this hat board would be. So you'd come into your own hat board, straight ribbon cable, and the hat board would just cross all the wires to match the board. And so that way it'd be really easy to get yourself these FD360, 3712 compatible drives for any parallel interface you wanted for any computer, even computers that really didn't support much in the way of floppy disk drives back in the day. I just thought it would be a fun thing to do, but I need, my idea of the hat board is what made this reasonable, because it was always, well, there's no way to interface it. Everybody have to custom wire something in the middle, and making a rat's nest of wires to swap 40 conductors around is a pain in the neck. In the end, you really don't have that many to swap around, and it's not hard to do on a circuit board. But then I thought about this hat idea where it's standard on the board, and then you just put your own hat board on there. And of course, somebody might have already made one. If there's 5 or 6 people that have made them, then there's 5 or 6 different parallel boards that already have it for it.
And then you just plug it into like a dip socket.
Whatever is on your parallel interface board.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm wanting to do the same thing, but I can't find anything I can put on a PCB that'll plug into a dip socket that won't destroy the dip socket.
So that's the same challenge, yeah. That's the challenge.
And I've looked and looked and looked and looked, and I cannot find any. I found stuff that they used to make that did it, but they just.
Oh, no, so the dip socket on your parallel interface board, that would all be standard ribbon cable stuff.
Okay.
And those you can buy standard dip sockets with the fragile little pins.
Yeah.
Right.
Basically, wouldn't it be the cheapest way to do it is have an ESP board that just has all the different sockets on it to plug the different devices in? and you just choose whatever device you're going to use, and the rest of them are unused on that board.
I'm not following you.
No.
Well, you have the ESP module on the board, on this adapter board, and then you have like the Altair socket and
I don't know what people are going to hook to this, so I can't define anything on my controller.
Right, but if what I'm
There's no ESP32 involved at all.
No, but what I'm getting at is you could have several different types of sockets on there that connect to different drives and different devices. And then
There is an infinite number of sockets.
Yeah,
Right.
he's making it more universal than just a few sockets that he puts on there. He's making it so it's a header that you plug in a board that you're configuring, you know, the cable from your device into it.
Over to whatever you're going to do. But that one board could handle maybe 5 or 10 different devices.
But and it will end up not being the one you wanted. So that's why I'm not going to try that. So Joe's got it. There's a standard header on my board that's not going to match anybody's parallel board, most likely.
Yeah.
So but you put this hat on that does match it. And it's trivial to make those. There's no electronics, no anything.
Right.
It's a connector.
So
wires.
That matches whatever. For example, some of them will come over as, like if you did the IO4 board, you'd have 3, 16-pin dip sockets, probably all that ended up in one, 48-pin or 50-pin ribbon cable in the end or something, whatever I choose. But it's probably got to be 50-pin because a lot of them use 24-pin sockets. So you have a 50-pin set. Well, but then people might confuse it with disk drives. Plug it in the spot. Anyway, I haven't gotten that far. I basically, it's simple except for how to make the hat board, and you'd want to find some pins that you could buy, essentially just like the pins on that ESP32.
Yeah.
But they're all over the place. I just need to research and find them. Yeah.
Is there any project that already kind of somebody's developed a hat board that they give a BOM on that you could possibly get a number off of? Yeah. I haven't messed around with it.
I just need to go.
Wait a minute. The hat board is going on your board, right?
Right.
So why does it have to be a dip socket? Why can't you use some other form like the regular? Why does the hat board have to have a dip socket?
Oh, no, you're right. You're right. I've already been down this path now that you mention it. Yeah. No, what I got to thinking is I could just use, I'd probably do dual inline, just like the 34-pin, but I'd have one on each side just to make it sturdy and easy to plug in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I've already been down that thought process now that you mentioned it. And that's kind of where I went. Okay. And that's where I said, but it can't be standard 34 or 50-pin because people would plug the wrong stuff in.
But if you have 2 strips that a hat board can sit down, just like an ES, I'm looking at Patrick's little serial FTC board.
No, you're right. Okay, I've been down that road. So
and if you do it that way,
down. Okay, you're right.
Yeah, if you do it that way, then everything is easily available.
Yeah. No, that's.
And then again, having 2 rows makes it nice and stable.
Oh yeah.
And then the board on the top can have anything you want on it.
Correct. And that's what I wanted people to do. You could do anything that works for your particular ribbon cable, so you don't have to do custom wiring. Yeah. All right. So I need to go write all this down because I've been through this in the middle of the night when I can't sleep and I figure things out, and then I need to write it down.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, I think that'd be fun. Then you could parallel interface almost any computer, just like this did back in the old days. And now there's more and more software that works with this thing, and you can run, as is, lots of old vintage software too. I mean, I've been running this, in 1976. This FDOS was running with Fortran compilers, relocating loaders, of course, editor, assembler. I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I mean, because we didn't even get a disk drive out there until 76 or so on the micros. And it certainly didn't have all these kind of tools on it yet. So yeah, they were really jumping ahead. Well, it's interesting, they got adopted by Motorola and Intel for their development systems, but then basically both of them ended up developing their own. Motorola went with MDOS, and then Intel went with ISIS, their in-house stuff. But it doesn't surprise me that they went in-house rather than continuing to use third party.
Yeah.
If I ever get the damn soul to work.
So in that 8x8 square, is it the right stuff in the square?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just missing the rest.
It's just that, yeah, that's all it displays. You go down to the 8th character, and the 9th character goes back to the beginning. And then you go down to the 8th line, and then it goes back up to the beginning again.
The raster does?
No,
Or just what you can?
just what you can type, what you can see.
So if you turn up the raster, you can see it's still scanning the whole screen, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That sounds very much like a software issue, but where it thinks the screen is 8x8. It's odd.
Well, I mean, the board's not pulling data out and feeding.
Right. It's the display. It sounds like the display thinks the screen is 8x8.
Exactly.
I was
Yeah.
asking about the raster.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just start typing.
Now the next one is 8, so it should.
It went back to the beginning of the
Oh,
line.
yeah.
didn't it?
So who returned that? It did?
It did.
Well, do a dump.
Can you do like a control L and to make it shift down a line?
No. Oh yeah, I can. Well, I've got the up and down arrows. There's
Oh, okay, yeah.
And they just circle around? Yeah,
Yep.
they just circling back. Okay.
But it's like the
that does
software
sound
thinks
like
the screen is
software,
8x8. Yeah, it does sound like
Yeah.
software.
What happens if you do a dump?
you can't.
Because
You can't type dump. Well, you can type dump, but you can't
well, do DU.
du.
I think it has to be uppercase from what I recall.
Oops, sorry. Yeah. Let's see. Caps lock. Where are you? I'm looking at this thing sideways, so
Oh, okay.
shift lock. D U. Oh, let me start over again.
Doo-doo?
D U.
All right.
Okay.
And then you get a right, because it wants parameters, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right. But there's not enough D U space 0 0 0 0.
Are the zeros not echoing?
Yeah, the 0 is not echoing. That's interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
What happens if you just keep hitting return? Keep hitting return. Okay, see now, I would have expected it to go another 8 lines. These are 64 by 16, right?
Yeah.
I would have expected you'd have to hit it 8 more times till we saw it at the top again.
Yeah.
No, that's the problem. It only does 8 characters and 8 lines.
That sounds so much like software.
Unless the board is just wrapping around in memory.
Oh. But if the board was wrapping around, you'd think you could type a command.
Well, what's odd about the SOL is that the input buffer is the screen memory.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
And so if the screen memory is messed up, then it's never going to read I was trying to get you a command shorter than 8 characters.
Well, the only one I think is term.
Well, once you got term, you're lost, right?
Well, I just typed term, and it did do a carriage return line feed when I hit carriage return.
Well, it's sending everything out the serial port, so you'd have to type something in from a terminal emulator now. Here, do a reset and type DU 0100 or just DU 100 and hit return.
Okay, there's a reset.
Hey, now DU.
D.
What's the range? I forget. Comma? So say do 0, comma B0 or something. DU space 0, comma B0. That should fit. Is that under 8?
Yeah.
Zeros aren't showing up.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, because the 0 isn't getting echoed.
There's
Was it before?
if it was when he was just typing the numbers, it was echoing.
Okay, the 0 on the num screen works.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, it could just be that good old keyboard. Yeah, that's not unusual.
Are you sure the personality ROM is 100% original?
Well, it says Solos right on it.
Yeah. I can't remember whether it's, oh, you don't even need the 4. You can just do it with 2.
Ah,
Oh, so that worked. So do
worked.
DU 0, comma FF.
the
You want to see it scroll.
U
I want to see if it's wrapping on itself
Right.
or if it's
Yeah.
in memory we're not seeing.
Yeah.
0
You wrote duck.
0.
Can't remember whether it's a dash or a comma. Probably comma.
Okay. D U 0 really hard to type.
Well, just put the camera down, type it, and then let us see.
Yeah. Put the camera down, type in the stuff, then bring the camera up and hit enter.
I think you have to have a space after the DU.
D U. Oops.
You're getting extra characters.
Yeah, I fumbled it.
Yeah, just put the camera down and type, and then pull the camera up.
I'm actually using my iPad, so it's not that easy. Let me see.
Yeah, just set the iPad down.
Yeah. Okay. If lock is on. D U
Space
space
0, comma FF. That's all.
0 comma. Oh, okay. Oh, that's why. Oh, it looks like it's in a okay, let's see. Here's return. D U.
Yeah, DU space 0.
Yeah. Shift. D
Space in between. DU 0 space FF.
0
I have Sol on right now.
0 space F F. Okay, on the second F, it did a line feed.
Go ahead and hit return anyway.
Maybe it buffered the command. Oop. Sorry.
Well, do DU 0F. DU 0, DU space 0 space F.
Okay, there we go. DU space 0 space F. Okay.
Okay. DU space 0 space F.
Yeah.
Return.
FFF.
Wow.
Oh, it
It's
just
only
kind of rolled
57, really,
over
right?
itself, probably.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's enough fun for the day. And there's the personality module, and it's an EEPROM.
That's probably actually a prom.
We're looking at the walnut.
ROM, I mean.
Oops. Yeah, let me get over there.
Yeah, that's the ROM, I believe.
Yeah.
They had a few different versions. Some required ROM, some could work with EEPROM, some had a jumper you could swap around.
Yeah, when I built my Soul back in like 76, I bought a EEPROM. It was an EEPROM that the operating system was on. It wasn't a ROM, it was an EEPROM.
Well, see, that has a spot for another socket next to it, so you could do one of those or two 2708s.
Yeah.
But the ROM is a 2K.
But you see,
single
it's
chip.
I don't know if you can read it, but it says Solos 1 right on it. So it's a mask ROM with Solos.
Yeah, and those little holes right next to it that have labels on them, that's how I put jumpers in mine with Berg so I can switch between them. Yeah. Yeah, so the address counters in the video must be wrong. So I would look at those. The manual will break it into the video section, and there's address counters that must be wrapping, resetting too soon for some reason.
Yeah, I've looked at. I've taken every IC out of it and cleaned the pins.
Well, you can narrow this down to just an IC or two, probably.
Yeah.
If you're stuck, send me an email or something, and we can try to figure out which chips it would be.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, obviously it's sequencing through the RAM. I'm trying to think.
Well, what I may need to do is the only ICs I haven't cleaned yet are the not the display RAM. Here's the display RAM, but the scratch RAM.
Yeah, I mean, that could affect it. Yeah, that could certainly affect it because it does almost look software-ish.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you have not cycled those 2102s over there, by all means do it.
Yep, I think I'm going to do that next. That sounds like a project for tonight.
Yeah, no, yeah, if you haven't cycled them, I would definitely do that. Because yeah,
Unfortunately,
if it's retrieving, if it's got a bit missing or a bit set on the where it's storing the current horizontal and vertical position, then yeah, that could cause exactly what you're saying.
yeah. Now I did already swap. I exchanged the sets of 2102s.
Oh, you have. So you have cycled them then?
Yeah, I have cycled them.
How long ago was that?
About a week.
Okay. And how long have you been having this problem? The whole time, or?
Well, yeah, I had this problem after I fixed it. One of the ICs.
You had this problem after you fixed it?
Yeah, I had a different problem, and I fixed that different problem, which was a dirty IC. Okay, here's one more thing of interest. I pulled the personality module.
So that makes it sound like the video section's not bad.
Yeah.
Well, you see all the flashing, so that's something. But it's doing 9 zeros.
Yeah, 9-0 is normal.
Yeah, but you see,
That's
it's
basically
missing.
Reset 37, restart 7,
Right.
going fetching, and it ends up putting 909, or I can't remember. One of those isn't actually a 0. It's a graphic character that looks like an O.
Yeah.
But whatever it is, it shows up in memory over and over and over, and it writes right through video RAM.
The interesting thing is the top few lines are missing. They're blank.
Yeah, it could be because the scroll register isn't set properly.
That could be, yeah. And it's got like 11 lines, and I don't know how many characters per line, but it looks like it's pretty close to the 64.
Yeah, the 64 looks like it probably is there. Now, if you read the manual, it has a very good set of steps to evaluate the video, one of which gives you a whole screen of the 09s, but you had to do some jumpering to make that happen.
Yeah.
So I don't think just turning it on without the personality guarantees a screen full of 09s.
Yeah.
But it's not unusual to see that at all.
What was the top?
Fetch FF.
Was the top section that was blank? Was that the 8 lines that you were seeing previously? In other words, it's 8 plus the 11.
Yeah, it was some of the 8 lines.
It's just some of them. Okay.
There's only 16 lines on the display. So
okay.
Yeah. And it was showing me 11 of the 16 with the personality module off.
Okay,
yeah, so 2102s are notorious for 1-bit failures.
Yeah.
makes it very easy to find. But a 1-bit failure easily causes what you're seeing. Although those are 1x8 though, so that 1 bit that would cause that wrap would be a single chip. It might be worth cycling them all back.
Yeah.
And seeing how the flavor of the problem changes.
Yeah. And I might also, as I'm cycling them back, check them and clean them as necessary.
Or if you just reordered them, shift them all by 1, and now you get 4 instead of 8, or you now get 16, or that would be kind of a proof that you're fighting one of those chips.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So pull one out, shift everything up 1, and put that one in the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And see if your pattern changes by a power of 2.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you all very much. I'm going to have to get going. It's 5. It's after 5. I got to.
Yeah, Mike, that was a neat lesson when you said that the wires were screwed up on that data cable going from the CPU to the front panel adapter board. I would have never recognized that as the problem.
Well, normally when that's the case, examine doesn't work because it injects a jump and then the address. But the jump worked because it's a 303, and your upper 2 bits and your lower 2 bits are not swapped. So the jump worked, but then the other 2 values had bits in the middle that were swapped.
Yeah.
So you can see 5 and 4 went to 3 and 2, and 3 and 2 went to 5 and 4. The only thing that was odd is that when you did the examine, the LS bit got lost, but I figured that could be related to the fact that they're crossed to begin with.
But that's a typical problem that can arise doing this, going from a IMSAI type connector to the Altair Molex connector.
Right, and the 8800B is different than the original too. I mean, different connector and different order.
Yeah. But I was thinking I should, now that I have that video showing it being bad, I can make another video doing the same 2-byte program to the correct way, and then explaining the difference.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that's going to help somebody else in the future.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, it's always good to put out stuff like that, Walt. So sooner or later, somebody will stumble upon them, and you'll make their day. It's like, that's what I needed. So.
But an examine gets those switches and puts it on the address lights, just like your memory deposit did, except the deposit has to write it and then read it back from RAM. So it could be that the output screwed it up. It could be that the RAM screwed it up. So that's why I wanted to look at it on the address lights as well.
Yeah. The next step for that computer is I have cutter ROM also in the ROM chip on the flex board. So I want to put in the VDM 2021 board in there and see if I can't get that working as a subsystem B.
Oh, I thought I got your VDM 21 board.
I built 2 of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you only got 1 of them.
I got the one you put together wrong.
Yeah.
Hey, it was worth it. Fix this and you can have it. Okay. Good deal.
Got any more, Walt?
Well, no, I fixed a few other things. It wasn't just that, but he was generous and offered that. That's a nice board.
Yeah, but you fixed 2 other CPU boards for me.
Right. No, I fixed some other stuff. It wasn't just that board.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's like Terry. That's why I'm generous with Terry too, because he's fixed a lot of stuff for me. So I've given him things as, gratitude for the work that he's done. I don't think have I sent you anything, Patrick? I don't remember.
Patrick earned his keep through email and forum support.
Yeah.
I'm impressed this saw actually worked. I haven't turned this on in 6 months.
Oh, there you go.
It's only supposed to work once, or it's not vintage.
There you go.
I mean, typically, when you really need it, it never comes on.
Well, it fixed my problem, Joe.
Oh, what was it?
I remember I found this 100 years ago. Like I was talking about, if the simulator, for some reason, if I say, hey, we're running it 9600 baud, all of its internal stuff tries to like manage it, make sure we're not sending or anything faster than 9600 baud. It's like it's connected to a serial port set to 9600. How's it going to go faster than 9600?
Yeah.
Anyways, so I found out, I dug through the code, and I remember I did this before, I think on a different one. And after I configure it and say, hey, we're running you 9600 N81 or whatever, then I have to tell it, oh, by the way, the baud rate now is actually 0. Just specifically the baud rate is 0, and it turns all his crap off.
Oh, okay.
And now it works fine.
Awesome.
There's so much garbage internal to SimH that just is annoying.
You ever played the 6800 in SimH?
I'm sorry?
You ever played with the 6800 in SimH?
No, in fact, I took it out of mine.
Yeah. Because there's a guy, Roberto Sanchez, something or other, and he's restored all sorts of 6800 lost operating systems.
Neato.
So his fork of SimH, he's done extensive work on 6800. I don't think he's ever done a pullback. It's just his.
Right.
And he has put in all sorts of things. He's doing a lot of this FDOS and EDOS stuff too. So he's actually got the, FD3712 emulated in there for an Astral 2000 computer. And so he's doing a whole bunch of that with the 6800. I just didn't know how far he had to take it from what it was originally. So I was wondering if you were familiar with what state it was in.
No, I don't. I really don't have a whole lot of problems until because you worked with SimH before, a while back, Mike. And anyways, there's this thing called TMXR, and it's like the terminal. It's what deals with like your socket connections and serial ports and all this stuff. It's how you send and receive data. And it's got so much stuff in it that I just want to send and receive and say, hey, has everything been sent? Is there any data for me to get? And like to do that, it just won't do it unless you find out like all this internal stuff it's doing, why it's doing it internal, and then find some back end way to tell it don't do that, which is what I just found. What was happening is like using a COM port, it's running back and forth really fine. Then all of a sudden, everything just gets really slow. It's just like, and it's because it thinks it's got to wait, doing all these sleeps and stuff because it's sending too fast. I don't know what it's doing. So I just told it, hey, just leave me alone. And don't try to do anything. Just send the data I give you and get the data I ask for.
Makes you want to start from scratch.
That I would love to do that. Just an Altair or an S100 simulator.
Well, what's his name did that? God, I'm drawing a blank. He had the CPM Google group while it was still active.
Not the Z80 pack stuff,
yeah,
right?
Z80 pack.
Udo. Or am I pronouncing the name wrong?
Yeah, his is kind of, I find it odd also, and it does a bunch of
weird so stuff. I worked on his once because I didn't want to do SimH yet again. So I was trying to get the MOSTEC system done on an emulator for somebody in Germany who had the European version of it for the real hardware. And so rather than try to coax SimH, I was so tired of it, I picked up Z80 pack and did it. And it was relatively simple, but still it's not, well, none of us write the same code that somebody else wants, right? So
sure,
it's not what I wanted. And it makes you want to just do your own. But that's a big job.
Yeah, I like kind of how I'm used to it. But so I kind of like how SimH attaches drives and you can just mix and match devices and do whatever you want with one executable. But it's really, it seems like everything is geared towards PDP. Or, when you try to make a system that's going to work for everybody, it really ends up working for almost nobody.
Right. Too much.
But yeah. So there's so much stuff in there that we just don't need, or makes it hard to do what we want to do. And then if it impacts, VAX or PDP-11, good luck. It's not going to get changed. So, but I would love to just have our own, just sort of like
start from scratch
S100 simulator.
Yeah.
What about that guy in Italy? What about the guy in Italy that wrote he has an Altair simulator that he wrote for the ESP32. You might, maybe if you could get his source code, that might give you a start for an Altair 8800.
Yeah, I would probably start with SimH and just weed out all the stuff I don't
Just keep
need.
stripping stuff out until there's nothing
just
left
keep
of what
yanking
you
stuff
want.
out and yanking stuff out and yanking stuff out.
And then then clean up what's left. Yeah.
Because again, a lot of these simulators I found, it's they only support maybe 2SIO. They're really geared towards, hey, I boot CPM, I get an A prompt. They're not. They probably don't have interrupt handler. I don't know what they all have. If you want to start just mucking with a bunch of different hardware, they just don't seem to do that. And something that's does like a 2 megahertz, a clock that works better, so you can do stuff like PC put and PC get, and where it still runs fast, but I'm not sure quite how to do that. But
no, that's a toughie, because I could have used Altair 8800, your emulator. Once again, I had to rebuild this all from scratch, and I'm thinking, well, damn, I really should have done it after I talked to him last time. But yeah, I mean, there's so many things that have software loops in them for timing, and you can't fake that. You have to run slow in order for those to work.
Yeah, and RZSZ, I learned, and I think it's the same. The serial program on the Mac is the same thing. When you send when you're sending, if you send an EOT and wait for an ACK. Well, I think RZSZ and the Mac, when you send an EOT, it's like, well, that might be garbage. So we want to wait until we get another EOT or a second has passed and we don't get any other characters. So unless you get the timing right, you have like a 3-second timeout. If it ends up being like a half a second, it always fails because you send an EOT, EOT. And it's like, okay, you got 3 of them, but you're trying to be smart. And you want to wait a second at least. So you got to slow it down until it's at least a second. So it's just kind of annoying.
Right. So, I mean, I guess even if this ran at native speed, the fact that the disk was not beating on my real disk for another 1,000 revolutions would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that the disk itself would be faster by avoiding all the seeks and the rotation time. Although there's some things where you'd want to turn that on, I guess.
Well, and that's the other downside with the SimH is once you slow it down or once you enable throttling, you can't disable the throttling without quitting and starting over.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can make like a CPM command that said like CPU 2 megahertz, and it'll do a SimH like R and W, and it'll just change what you're doing. Or so you can do PC, if you're going to do a PC get or put, slow it down. When you're done, speed it up again. It will just do it all for you. But SimH has a limitation where you can't do that.
Yeah, go write your own.
Yeah.
You'll sell at least 5 copies.
No, one copy for $25.
Yeah.
And then we'll all bootleg it. Yeah. Okay.
Hey, look at this new program I got, guys.
Yeah. But guys, the SimH is so dang close. And again, like I said, you just run into these problems. You just have to figure out how to work around them.
Oh, Patrick, question.
Yeah.
On the SIO board that you're working on,
Mm-hmm.
the headers for the serial ports, are they the same as the 2SIO?
No, they're going to be the 14 pin.
Damn. No, well, so I just ordered my first batch of trial DB25 ports for your 2SIO model. Because some of us are team DB25. I know. Mike, I think, is team DB25, and so am I largely. So yeah, I just ordered the first set of test boards to try and make some of those up. And I was hoping that it would have the same cable because then I could use the same adapter board.
There's going to be so much room, I could probably do both.
But I just thought that might be useful to a few people who actually want a DB25 on the end rather than a DB9.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't
that's
know.
why you went to the 14 to
Huh?
match the DB9. I mean the 25s.
No, what I've done is a little tiny adapter board so you can put the 10-pin cable that goes to the current board and just make a cable with two 10-pin plugs on it and plug it in and it's got a DB25 on it.
Yeah. No, but Patrick said the new board
Yeah.
was using the 14 pin.
Right.
Is that to be compatible with DB25s, I take it?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, okay, with the straight cable. Okay.
Yeah, because remember when I did my board, you were kind of wanting me to put a 14 pin on it.
Got
Well,
it.
that's because I'm team, I guess as Tim would say, I'm team DB25. My whole lab is original DB25, so all my cabling
Yeah.
is DB25, and I adapt to the PC for that one situation.
So,
Yeah, yeah. And when I was working with people, just helping people get they're always they just want to go to 9.
Yeah, I know.
Always in PCs.
Yeah.
So I said,
yeah.
but I thought this SIO board is going to be used
Good point.
differently.
Yeah.
So I was going to put 14s on it for DB25s.
Yeah.
But maybe I'll just do both.
Yeah. And Mike, if they work, I'll send you a couple so you can use Patrick's board. Assuming I didn't get my my layout wrong.
Well, I mean, I still have DB9 to DB25 solid connectors from the 80s.
Yeah.
I just use those, but
Yeah, well, the idea here was standard DB25 on a little circuit board with a little right angle style.
yeah.
So you could put that right into the back panel, which you got cutouts for it already,
Right.
and then have a 10-pin socket
gotcha,
the same as
yeah.
the board, so you can just run a ribbon cable across.
Yeah, that'll work.
So I ordered 10 of them. We'll see if I got my schematic right.
And I'll try the whole DCE, DTE.
Yeah,
If you buy these in bulk, you can get them for about $1 a piece.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to do the DTE, DCE on the other board either.
Oh, okay.
It's just going to be DCE because I think that's what people normally run. Like I said, people using this can use breakout boxes and cables.
Oh, yeah.
They know how to do stuff. The 2SAOR1 was really for plug it into a PC and not have a problem.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking at replacing my JP board with yours once I get these adapters, just to simplify the system a little bit.
Yeah. So I do have the board layout done, all the stuff, all the bus stuff, all the buffers, because I mean the schematic's been done for a while. It's the PCB layout that is really hard.
Well, I mean, even for me, just starting, even trying to set up, 7 connections.
Yeah. Well, then it's like, well, if I change this and go to address 0 instead of 1, it'll make it easier. So there's anyway, so the bottom of the board's done now. Yeah. Now I just got to hook it up to I just got to do the baud rate generator and the UARTs. And
the UARTs you're using are not the same as your other board, right?
No, it's going to be whatever it is, the INS 60, those dumb ones. That the same one.
Yeah, because you want the dumb ones because the SIO assumes no code to start it up. It just works. Yeah,
this will be the same.
So yeah,
it's the same chip.
Well, it's 2502, I think, is what the SIO uses.
Yeah, and there's Mike has a whole list of compatible ones. Yeah, so I did some Google searches and found who has.
Right.
I mean, all the pinouts are the same, I believe.
Yeah.
But I'm just using the one that I knew I can get a lot of.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the only 2502s you can get anymore are used and pulled from boards pretty much. Now, you can see my.
Now you're a tall, skinny picture. You got to turn your phone side. There you go.
So now you can see my workspace, as it were, and yeah.
Now you're panning too fast.
Yeah, well, I'm just experimenting.
So having Walt asked me to start my video, I said okay, and that worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did this thing that says ask to start video.
I just flipped back because trying to do this on your phone is
anyway. So here's my entertainment. Can you guys see my phone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got this is that Altair 680, and he did DB9. But to get that out of here, I had to use a short cable because there's not enough room. So then I have to go to this cable, which is a DB9. which then has to go to DB25, that has to go to a null modem, that has to go to a gender table, that has to go to my DB25, that can then go to my USB adapter. That can then go to my that should be one fucking cable. It shouldn't be this.
You're just missing the thing with all the lights to show you what's happening on it, Mike. You know, you need one of those blocks in there.
And I don't understand well enough to be using it.
It's funny because that was bringing back memories of late 90s me as a network engineer, and you would have 30 different freaking serial adapters in your bag because whatever piece of equipment you were plugging into wouldn't work unless you did. And sometimes you were even, putting little jumpers in these breakout boxes. Somewhere around here, I've got a little serial tester with jumpers and.
Yeah, I have one of those. I used it to hook up a OP80 to an IO4 board that Martin had loaned me because he had used a DB25 as his parallel connector. And so I used one of those breakout boxes to cross all the wires. But no, I use those in the old days too. We had a wonderful, I mean, really, it was just for RS-232 and 422 traffic. I forget who made it, but it had a little 4-inch Osborne style screen on it, and it had all the characters coming by, and you could see all the control characters, and you could stick stuff in the middle and say, don't pass this, go ahead and pass that, or if this comes in, inject one of these, and it was nice.
Yeah, and then in the late 90s when network gear, some of the network manufacturers started to go to RJ45s for their serial ports, and none of them used the same pin out.
Order of pins, yeah.
In fact, I discovered the hard way. This was actually probably 10 years ago. RJ45 serial port on the back of an APC UPS. If you plug a Cisco cable in there, not their cable, and you hit enter on your serial, it shuts down the APC. And I did that on somebody's production network. It was not a good day.
No.
This is like the setup I had when Patrick was having me get my modem hooked up to the computer.
Yeah.
I had to get adapters for everything. But now I got everything adapted to 9-pin cables, so.
Sorry, Patrick, you've got Chevy people and you've got Ford people out there. You should forever will have to support both.
Yep.
Yep, that's about it.
Well, I mean, the 88.2SIO, if any of you've wired the original, you have to do all these wires to switch anything. I mean, it's just unbelievable. All the wires you have to put in to establish which is transmit, which is receive, how your handshake line's wired. And all those wires did was route them through the proper drivers and receivers on the board to the Molex connector on the board. So you had that level of being able to mix it up. And then you had the internal wire that went from the Molex connector to your DB25 in the back panel. And that you could wire your own way. And then, of course, your external wire, people always used to do their own wiring. You know, they would short the pins to get rid of the handshaking lines across 2 and 3. And so you got 3 different places to change the wiring on this RS-232 off-the-shelf configuration. And the description in the MITS manual was a completely invalid combination. And they included those same bad instructions with the turnkey board. So it had 2 and 3 as DCE, but RTS and CTS matched DTE on the connector. So it was never right. It couldn't be right. But it's just a nightmare to be able to change that in 3 places. So yeah, Patrick did it. And my idea was like, eliminate the onboard variation, eliminate the in-chassis variation, put a standard on the connector. And if somebody has to change it, do it with your cable. Because then it's under your control. You don't have 3 different possibilities. It's just one.
Yeah, well, Patrick's board with the DTE and DCE connectors as well. I mean, that is a thing of beauty. Because if you have to change it, you're not looking for a crossover. It's just like, yeah. We just needed DB25, Patrick, so I'm trying to fix it.
The only thing Patrick's board doesn't do is the full RS-232 voltages.
Nobody does that.
I mean, RS-232 is technically plus and minus 3.
Yeah, what voltages are you looking for?
Well, I'm not looking for them. I'm just saying, you know, when you connect to a teletype, you need,
That's the current load.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ours 232 voltages is 12 volts. I don't know
Yeah.
what else you'd want.
Although not a lot of people don't run them at 12.
Now,
Yeah.
plus and minus 3 is still in spec.
Right. A lot of them are 5
Is it?
volts, so they don't bother with the 12 volt lines. They just
Or
run
they
them
do
5.
plus 5 and minus 12.
And
Yeah,
then
the SIO board, it's gonna be, I can't remember, 6. Anyway, because I'm just using the Max 232 with its own little pump in it,
okay,
so I'm not gonna use the 12 because I just want to eliminate those two.
cool.
Mike,
I run
doesn't
0 and
that,
5 all the time. R232 is fine with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Mike,
can't remember what the Max 232 does with the.
I think it's 5 volts.
It might be
it
5.
goes between 12 and 5, yeah.
It all depends what the starting. I mean, they have them that run at 3.3 volts and then convert, and then they have ones that'll run down at 2.5 and convert, and they convert to different voltages within the same chip will do different.
Okay.
Well, that's for the particular version like I'm using on the FPC
Right.
Plus where it's 3.3.
Yeah, this one runs off 5.
Usually go to plus and minus 10 or so, but yeah, I mean, R232 is really forgiving on that.
But Mike, isn't that teletype behind you? Is that's a Model 15 you said?
Yeah,
Yeah, but that's 20 milliamp current loop, isn't it?
that's 60.
60 milliamp, yeah.
Yeah, and it's straight to the inductors of the selector magnet. So unlike the
Wow.
ASR33, that goes to a solid state driver. So this has got like 4 Henrys, not micro Henrys, not milli Henrys, 4 Henrys
Wow.
of inductance. And so you got to kick up to, 100 volts or so to get that to pull in and quickly enough to meet bit timing. Now, once it's pulled in, 60 milliamps can be done with just 12 volts or so. But yeah, to get it to pull in quick enough because of the inductance formulas, you got to start up at 100 volts or so to get it to move. Yeah, not computer friendly voltages. And you can imagine the inductive kickback on that. So that's how I interface to them. So basically, I use the inductor in that teletype as the inductor of a switching power supply. So when it goes, my little interface I built is all low powered. It doesn't have to have the 10 watt resistors in it like you're used to seeing. So when it drops off, it catches the inductive spike onto a couple of high voltage capacitors and then dumps that back in when it switches back to a 1, so that I can run the whole thing off of 15 volts. So it stays nice and cool and protects my computer from all the nasty voltages.
Nice.
Well, that's good. Did you go as far as putting opto isolators in there just in case?
Yes. But I'm trying to think where it is. Yeah, the opto isolator is an opto MOSFET that turns that on and off. Yeah.
Right. So even if something goes wrong, the surge can't get back generally.
And the host side just runs at 9600.
Yeah.
And uses a handshake line because this is, well, it can be multiple things, but 60 word per minute standard is 45.5 baud, which is, you're not going to get anything that generates 45.5 baud anymore.
Cool.